So, what am I to you? What are we? I once heard a guy reply to that question: we are pencils in the hand of the Creator. But that is a very wrong answer to that question, because it's simply a question of somebody asking to define a relationship. It is terrible and dangerous to work with somebody and not define that relationship with them. Yorubas, after all, have this saying that no matter how close a father and a child are, they must have boundaries when they have a farm together. Because without boundaries, there will be chaos. You, as a person in a relationship, must define that relationship, because when you define it, you give it boundaries, you give it a scope, a purpose, a direction. There are 5 reasons I've found that for which you must give a relationship definition. The first reason is because it's a biblical thing to do. God in Himself, brought people to Adam, and Adam had to choose and define the relationship between himself and the chimpanzees and the beautiful gazelles. And he chose rather a woman who he said, now this is therefore the bone of my bone and the flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman because she was brought out of man. He decided to define the relationship at first sight. And this is what every person born of God must have the ability to do, to discern relationships and define them immediately so there will be no confusion. The second reason why you must define a relationship is because it helps you guard your heart. Proverbs 4 verse 23 says, guard your heart with all diligence, because out of it flows the issues of life. Life can be very confusing. And when you don't guard your heart by defining a relationship, you begin to act in very ungodly manners. I've seen people that had what you call situationships because they failed to define the relationship. The girl began to assume that she was something more than a friend, and the guy just kept living his life, or vice versa. The third reason why is because there is clarity in purpose when relationships are defined. When you both know where you are headed, you would know when you are beginning to veer off the path. If you've both been clear that we are both friends, and then there seems to be some kind of feelings along the way, there is ease when you sit down to talk about that. We were once friends, now maybe we're catching feelings. But when there is no clarity or purpose, you're just living life anyhow. And both of you are not young people. You both know that you are within marriageable age and you are people that are mature. There will be confusion when there is no clarity of purpose, where you don't know where you are going to. Because where the purpose of a thing is not known, abuse is inevitable. It's not a matter of if, it is when. Another reason why is because you are honoring God's plan. God is a God that defines things. He gave Adam the power to name things. He also himself names things and names people, names relationships. He called himself our Father for a reason. He defined our relationship. It's not just God, He is Father. At times He can be judge, at times He can be king, but altogether He is Father. The other reason why you must define relationship is because it builds strong foundations of any relationship. The scripture says that where the foundation is destroyed, what can the righteous do? A relationship that begins without definition is bound to fail. Is bound to fail. Then lastly, another reason why you must define your relationship is because it prevents disappointments. I've heard about people who heard that their bestie was getting married and they became torn up with grief because they thought that he was going to come and ask their hand, but he never did. And they also never asked to define it. So back to my earlier story, I once heard this question: so what am I, or what are we? And I had to answer. Of course, I manned up, but that's a story for another day. And I spoke my mind. But you must make it your duty and your responsibility to always define a relationship, because when you don't do that, you are not honoring God's design, and eventually the relationship is headed for disaster. I hope this helped. Can you let me know what you think about defining relationships? And like, share, and subscribe. God bless you. Till we see another time.